It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up Sim Standard Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you want to feel. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K. Just listen for one day. They'll grab you and you'll say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with Sim Standard Radio.
Yo, what's up, folks? Welcome back, man. Sim Standard Radio, episode 83. And the first show of the new year, man. So we definitely welcome you guys back. Happy New Year. Hope everyone had, happy holidays and good holiday season or what have you. Well, we're back, man, and it's grind time. Top of the year. Y'all know, pretty soon it's going to be time for us to start going down to EA and see, what's coming up for Madden 17. You guys know we already know a lot of the plans and ideas for future Madden, but it's always good to go down the first time and see exactly what is going to make it into that product, and then, having to play keep away from you guys until we're able to say something. But we're ready to get rolling, man. I think this is the time. This is the time for us and the community to continue to push. Of course, we're always doing that throughout the year. And whatever game you work with, whoever's listening to this show, maybe, you work with 2K, I know they have a team up type of unit and, all types of different games. Like, shout out, I want to say this real quick to my buddy, Corey Andrus. I saw he posted something on Facebook. He said it's always great to have your name included in the credits of a video game. I mean, Corey, I can't even remember which game it was, but it wasn't like Madden or anything like that. But I say that to say this, man, shout out to anybody in the community that's working with different game products or what have you and being recognized for your work. That's what it's all about. So, do your part. And let me say this, too, real quick before I throw it to Smitty. SFL is underway tonight. I'm going to pull it up here. I probably won't be able to really pay too much attention to it here on the show, but I definitely want to pull it up, chat to those guys real quick, let them know I'm there supporting them. Go check that out. That's another community effort. We all, you guys know that's Kervin Irvine and, I'm forgetting, Mike Peters, I think his name is. I know him and Mike was doing some things with Madden, and I believe he will still be a part of SFL as well. So definitely check those guys out. And you guys can understand, kind of follow the theme here. Anyone who's doing something for the community, we're going to support it, and vice versa. And, definitely, let's do it, man. It's time to get it done. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and get started. It looks like right now, as of now, it's just Smitty and myself. So we'll go ahead and throw it to Smitty, see how his holiday was and things of that nature. And also, Smitty, if you want to touch on, I know we talked a little bit about it offline. If you want to touch on that a little bit of what 205 said last week, I know you had fell off and you wanted to give your opinion on that. Definitely feel free to do that as well.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, man. Had a good New Year and everything. Yeah, and I'm sorry, people. I had to take care of the baby and the wife at that tail end there, so that's why I was like, by the time I was able to get back, it was like, no point in trying to call back because the show was about to be wrapped up. But enjoyed the holiday season. I had a good holiday, family, friends, and everything. Baby's first Christmas and going to the New Year and everything. So it was, it was definitely enjoyable. I had a great time. As far as I'll just say this real quick about the Lions and then tune in on the tail end of the episode. I'll say this. The Lions, I wish that Jim Bob Cooter was our coordinator off the gate. We would have had probably one of the best records in the NFL, flat out, because the way we performed that latter part, I mean, mind you, they were not against the best of teams, but at the same time, it's not like we performed horribly against the Seahawks, against the Broncos. Like, we could have legitimately beat the Broncos and we could have beat the Vikings twice. You know what I mean? If we just had better coordination and better preparation and better offensive coaching there. because our defense was basically in the middle of the pack, like in terms of how they performed. They did a good job. And I mean, look, Ziggy Ansah, he ate up this year. You know what I'm saying? Without having all those defensive pieces missing, and he ate well. So that just goes to show you right there, that brother really did progress. So, you know, and then we did what we could. I know this offseason is going to be, you know, potentially Calvin may retire. I can't blame him if he does, because, I mean, this goes to show you just how good the man is. He doesn't practice. He ain't running routes. He ain't doing any of that. He's not doing anything until game day. And he's going out there just lights, camera, action time. All right, let's get it done. But he was not being positioned to truly succeed until Lombardi got fired. So just think if, you know what I'm saying, if Cooter was coaching it up and the game planning was different, he would have been, nobody would be talking about him being all old, like, oh, he's old and he's this and he's that. Look, he's not. It's just that he's been basically a diversion. And he knows his role. Like, he knows what he's out there to do. He's like, I'm here to take, you know, to create opportunities for other players, for my teammates, because of the attention he draws. So I can't, you know, I'm not going to say that he's old or what have you. You know what I mean? I mean, we saw what Patrick Willis did. All of a sudden, unexpectedly quit. Calvin, the position he's in, he's not a guy that wilds. You know, he doesn't wild out with his money. He ain't out there like that. He's wise with, you know, with how he took care of himself and everything. He played everything very smart. He can walk away from the game right now and be fully intact. You know what I'm saying? And heal up and enjoy his life. He's like, what, 30, 31 years old. So he's got some decision making to think about right there in terms of going forward, because the Lions aren't truly going to be able to go forward with the amount of money that he would be owed, that I think next season. He would have to restructure his contract, which I'm pretty sure he would be cool with doing if he chooses to go forward with the Lions. Because he could go somewhere else and try and get a ring. So, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? It would be unfortunate. I would love to keep Calvin here. I would love for him to stay. But if he leaves, then, you know, we gotta rebuild. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're already in rebuild mode as is, but you know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, that would be even more needs we would need to assess. But I will just say this. If anything, I don't think Calvin would hold the team hostage in terms of making a decision. I think that he would make a decision sooner before later. You know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't hold off until the draft and then be like, oh, well, now I decide to do this. Like, I think he has enough, you know, he would show enough class and respect to just be like, you know what, guys, I'm going to walk away, and this is my decision. You know, so we'll see in that regard what happens there with the team as far as that. And then even Terrell Austin, he's about to go ahead and be a coordinator somewhere else. I mean, possibly a head coach somewhere else. So, you know, that's another need we're going to have to fulfill. You know what I mean? So we're going to need, if we fire Caldwell, we're definitely going to need a head coach. If we keep Cooter, then, you know, we're good on the offensive coordinator tip, but then we're going to need another defensive coordinator. And I mean, Austin was a pretty darn good one. And now he rightfully earned his opportunity to be a head coach elsewhere. So we'll see what happens. You know, we got a lot of things going on in terms of rebuilding over here. So we'll see what happens as far as that. But as far as the last show of the year is concerned, that last bit from what 205 was saying, in terms of the game being nerfed and all that. Look, you know, I was looking at some old videos. I would say some earlier videos today, before the game got patched and before the catching got nerfed, because people said that the aggressive catching was OP. Basically, they just couldn't handle it. Well, what Madden served up was what actually happens in football when you put wide receivers and DBs on an island one-on-one. They serve up what typically happens. as we've seen over the course of the season, we've seen a plethora of one-handed catches by many different players on offense and defense alike, and we've seen a lot of one-on-one situations where players would get ate up regularly. We saw that, and you saw how teams would have to strategically game plan against those receivers to stop them, to break up those passes and to nullify their attacks. We saw that over the course of the year. But when the preseason was going on, which is basically when Madden drops, people were all up in arms and, oh my gosh, it's OP, and oh my gosh, I can't believe. No. And you had people from your casuals to your tournament to your sim casuals. You know, I'm labeling these guys now because they got exposed. And when we go down to the studio and we play the game, it's in this state where we play it and we're like, yo, people are going to genuinely have to fear what happens. They're going to have to really be legitimate with how they attack these things. And it gets nerfed because that's something that they're not used to when they play Madden. But isn't that what we wanted, though? We don't want Madden to feel like Madden. We want Madden to replicate what happens in football. But then when they do it, people complain. They did the same thing with Madden 15. We go down there, the inaccurate passes, the defensive play, like, it was beautiful. But then you get people come out here and whine and complain and cry and moan, and then what happens? Oh, now you got Robo QB back in the game. See what I'm saying? So it's like people complain about football aspects, but then they complain when it's not there. See what I'm saying? Or once they nerf it. And what we're saying, and like Sim said, it's going to be about that time when we go down there. I'm straight up saying this is what they need to do. They need to have a tuner set. They need to take from two games, NHL and Tiger Woods. Number one, they need a simulation mode. All these sim casuals and these, you know, these guys that proclaim they want football or these casuals and everything, and these tourney guys that can't handle it and all that, let them play the other difficulties, rookie, pro, all Madden. Let them have that. Give simulation mode where it's uncapped. This is football, and you're getting it full force in every facet. That's what we need to have. That's what you got in Tiger Woods. It didn't matter what the golfer's overall rating was. It didn't matter who it was. It was you versus the course, which is what golf is. If you don't play strategically, you're losing. You're gonna shank off the tee and all that stuff. If you don't swing the club right and everything, they made it that tight. You got the same kind of deal with NHL. When they do these tuner updates, you can tune the game. You can use that tuner, and you can either use the most current tuner they have, or you can use one of the previous ones. They need to have that in Madden. So when people complain, oh, the aggressive catching's OP, and it's this and it's that. Okay, play on the tuner where all of a sudden Calvin Johnson is nothing but a normal receiver now, and everybody can stop everybody. Play that. You play on that tuner set. We're going to play on the default. You see what I'm saying? And if we want to adjust it and modify it, we can modify it ourselves. We don't have to rely on the dev team to necessarily tune it themselves, and then we just all universally got to deal with it. No, it's going to be, we can set it the way we want. So when we're playing in our franchises and we're playing offline, we can say we can leave the sliders at stock default and we're going to do this. Now, I'm not saying this affects the patch that they do. Like, just think if you got the patch the way it is now, with the D linemen all using their strongest moves and everything and attacking the pocket and all that stuff, the zone coverage being refined the way they had it, but you got the tuner set the way it originally was as far as the catching. So you got that performance. I would be in heaven with the way the game is, and I'm just like, keep building from that. But we got to universally go by what everybody complains about. And that's why I'm saying that, like what was said by 757 on that show, we giving you guys the time, but it's just a few more years. Y'all got to quit catering to these other people. And you guys got to let football play out. And if people get mad, let them get mad. Because ultimately, they're going to buy the game anyways, and they're going to play it. Because, I'll end it with this. Because Sim knows, Azura even knows. We've seen so many people, ever since we started making YouTube videos, say, I swear, if next year's Madden comes out like this, I'm done with the series. They got Madden 16 now. These same people that said that if I see issue A, B, C, D, E, F, G happen in next year's game, I'm done with it. Those same issues will be there, and they owned Madden 10, 11, 12, 13, 25, 15, and 16. They bought them all. So they're still going to buy it, even with the frustration. Let them get mad. Let them be pissed off. They got to learn. This ain't going nowhere. This is not being patched or tuned or anything like that. This is how it's going to be. Y'all just got to deal with it. And that's how it has to be. FIFA did it. PES does it. NHL did it. Tiger Woods did it. Why are we catering? They just gave you the options. Okay, you can't handle it, play on this lower level then. That's it. That's the only option they gave you. It wasn't you just got to deal with it. They made you cater. You got to play. You got to step down a notch then. And that's it. They didn't say, well, we're going to spay and neuter the game because y'all can't handle it. No, it can't be like that no more with Madden. Seriously, people are going to play Ultimate Team and they're going to play all these modes. They're going to play and buy it regardless. So it needs to be. They need to stop neutering the game because these people, because you got these people that can't handle it, flat out. So, that's why I just wanted to say that in regards to that. But I'll pass it to Sim.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I mean, we'll come back to that because that's, definitely a part of one of the topics that we want to talk about tonight, guys, is, the patch era, patches and new engines. And, we ask for new engines all the time. And then, some people like patches, but then it seems like sometimes the patches are causing more problems and they're doing good. So we're definitely going to get into that, man. But, real quick, just in light of the football season coming to an end, it's win or go home at this point. And it's funny because I told you guys in regards to the Steelers, I said 10-6 will get us to the playoffs. I said that would happen, but what I didn't think, I had no idea it was going to come down to Buffalo beating the Jets. I thought what was going to happen, that Pittsburgh would lose one of the last two games, and that's why I said it was very important to beat Denver and beat Cincinnati when we had this last 4-game stretch. Because I was like, in order to go 10-6, you can only afford one more loss. And I'd rather it be, one of those opponents. You hate to see yourself lose to an opponent that you should win. But you guys know how those divisional games go. And I figured that one of them would happen, and I thought the Patriots was going to take care of the Jets. So my thinking was, you win one of the last two, Patriots beat the Jets, then regardless of what happens the next week, you're in. As long as you can, win one game. So even if we would have lost the Baltimore game, we come back and just win in Cleveland, had the Jets lost, it wouldn't have mattered. As long as we won, we were in. Didn't think it was going to work out the way it did, but hey, they won 10 wins. I'm happy about that. You know, I'm happy about the way the team has come together over the season. I honestly, guys, I still don't think that we are an official playoff team. And what I mean by that is it's going to come down to the defense. I just don't trust the defense, the secondary. I do not trust the secondary. You guys know I've been saying that all season against top-notch competition. So I don't know how far they're going to go. I don't know if we're going to, go any further than Saturday. In regards to that, I will say I think this is a good matchup. We're definitely capable of beating Cincinnati. If you just look at little stuff like I saw something the other day where Pittsburgh is 14-3 in Paul Brown Stadium. That is just crazy. 14-3. We just went there and we won. And that's not a gimme. But if you look at the first game, we was in that game. We could have won that. So looking at it from that standpoint, I think the Steelers are very confident going into the game. I feel kind of confident as far as I know we can win. Will we win? I don't know. It all depends on what the defense does and if the offense can get rolling. I think A.J. McCarron being in that situation, he's going to be unfamiliar with the situation. Inexperienced. Yes, he has played big-time football in college, and that's why, to be honest with you guys, I wasn't surprised at how well he's been doing since he's been managing the game. It's not like he's a scrub. He's just young. So who knows, man? I mean, now D'Angelo Williams is hurt. We don't know if he's going to play. And it's deja vu. Don't y'all remember this last year? Same thing. Running back gets injured in the last week going into the playoff. I tell you, I don't know. But I don't want to hold everything up talking about that. Let me go ahead and move on. But I feel like the Steelers, I think we have a chance to win. That's all I can say. We have a chance to lose as well because I'm just not confident. But I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think if we get past Cincinnati, to me, Cincinnati, this is the most important game right here. I think we actually got a chance to beat Denver again. And we might get New England. A big might. Now, let me give you a disclaimer. If Amendola, Edelman, and Grunt are playing all together, we ain't going to win that. Might as well go ahead and call that one in. We're not going to win that. Not in New England. But
you don't think
I don't
so?
know, guys. I don't know, Smitty. I'm scared,
I don't know,
because I'm so scared about
remember, remember, y'all. Now, I mean, mind you, it's regular season versus the playoffs, but when you guys took that L, you didn't have, what was it? Le'Veon Bell wasn't there, and Montavious Bryant were both out. Yep. So so if you had those two, I feel that y'all would have won because you guys just lacked the offensive weaponry to outscore. Because you honestly you guys could have shot them right out in terms of offense. Like you could have outscored them. It's just that Ben didn't have he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough to get the job done all the way. I'm like this. I mean, I was watching that game. I was like, man, if Bryant and Bell were there, it would have been a whole different tale. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. So, I mean, yeah, the running back situation is one thing, but you got some deadly receivers over there that you got two deadly receivers that can make something happen. And, and that'll open it up for your other receivers. It's just that on the defensive side, it's the secondary. Just like Stephen A. said, Stephen A. is giving y'all a huge vote of confidence in terms of doing damage in the playoffs. Now he's giving you guys a lot of confidence, a big vote of confidence. So I feel that you guys can make it happen. Like y'all can pull off some upsets and make something happen if you guys can generate some front seven pressure. Then you guys got a shot, especially but offensively, they got to come through on them drives. That's going to be critical. So like they have very little room for error on that.
Mm-hmm. Ben he can't throw those interceptions, man. It just and that's the only thing that scares me, Smitty, is the defense. I really feel like, and granted, we haven't played well the last couple weeks offensively, but we have scored we scored pretty much on the best defenses in the league. We put 30 up on Seattle. You know, we put up points against Cincinnati the last time, the Cardinals, Denver. I mean, there shouldn't be no defense that scares that often. It just comes down to, will our secondary keep us in the game? You know, it's the NFL. You know, I always say this on Twitter when I'm watching the game. You know, I watch the game with my wife's husband. He's still a fan, but he's one of those fans that, you know, those fans that think every play is supposed to be a first down. Every tackle is supposed to be made. Every catch is supposed to be caught. You know, what are they doing? Look at this defense. This defense, sorry. I'm like, they only gained 3 yards, man. I mean, it's the NFL. You're not going to hold teams to no point. But just be decent. Give me 70% of what we had in the second half against Denver. Give me that. And that Pittsburgh can beat some people. That's all we need. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. I'm not one of those blind fans, and I'm just like, yeah, we got this. I don't know. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
31st ranked defense against the pass, and we going into the postseason. We got a tough road, but I'm just proud that they got there, man, because I didn't think we had that kind of team, and with all the injuries, it's good to see at least a building block, I guess you could say. But anyway, man, let's go back to grab these topics. And like I said, man, it's kind of pretty much the same of what we've said before. Like Smitty covered a good portion just now in regards to what Madden needs to do, and I'm sure we'll touch that again. But we really just want to talk about the patch era. You know, we've talked about this before, but we want to talk about patches versus new game engines. And, you know, you hear that talked about a lot. People are always saying, man, we need a new engine. And what I kind of want to talk about here with Smitty is, and we know some of this, you know, for having kind of the behind-the-curtain view of Madden. We can only assume other games work the same way. Some of the things that you guys think are system problems as far as like the engine is not necessarily an engine thing. It could just be that the technology is not there yet. And I think that's a good topic to hit. Like, are the things that we ask for unable to be done? You know, what things can we see with our own eyes that we think, oh, that's an engine problem. If they had a better engine, that would probably be better. Or is it a technology thing? So we want to talk about that. And, you know, as far as patches, have they become, you know, worse off than they were before we had patches? Because I tell you, man, the second topic we're going to run into is the NBA thing, NBA 2K16. I haven't actually had an opportunity to play against anyone or, you know, play a full game since this patch. But I've been hearing from a lot of people that the game has been, like, drastically nerfed. And that, you know, that hits on the point of what Smitty was just saying. You know, I'll let Smitty go back in on that as far as 2K. But it's like, I don't understand. You know, I don't understand what's going on with these games. You can't make everybody happy, so you just make the game. Make it represent the sport, and that's it. And then, of course, after that, guys, you know, I do see we have 2 people waiting to speak. So we'll answer the calls as soon as we're done discussing. And, you know, we'll try to leave you guys as much time as possible. But before I throw it to Smitty and before we get it rolling, anybody who is listening online, you're welcome to give us a call. You can reach us at 516-453-9126. Just press 1. You'll be put in the queue. And then at that point, you know, we'll be able to answer your call. And one other topic, actually, I almost missed it, Smitty, that we're going to talk about as well is, you know, this is pretty much the 3rd year on next-gen consoles. If you think in terms of production and cycles, you know, Madden 25, you kind of count that, but technically it did have a next-gen cycle, technically, even though we know it wasn't a full cycle. We get Madden 15. We got Madden 16. Now, Madden 17, and I'm saying Madden because, you know, obviously that's the one we're closest to, but I'm speaking in terms of all of these games. with the exception of like an NHL. Obviously, it's not their third cycle, but this is basically the third cycle, like an official cycle for these next gen games. So, what are we expecting from these consoles this year? I think now these companies should have probably kind of hit their stride a little bit. So, are we expecting a huge jump, or are we expecting somewhat of the same? So, that's what we're going to talk about, guys. And like I said, once we wrap up, we'll open the phone lines, and then we'll discuss any questions that you guys have. So, Smitty, I know you already touched on it, man. So I guess you can pick up, right where you left off in terms of 2K. I don't know if you had a chance to play it yet, but, some very reliable gamers that we talked to have expressed their disdain for this patch. And it bears the question again, man, like, what is the deal with these patches first and foremost? And then second, what do you think as far as the new game engine? Are we getting a little ahead of ourselves by asking for a new engine? Is it that simple, or is it, a little deeper than that?
So, first of all, as far as 2K is concerned, I mean, 2K for me, and it's mainly for me because I've voiced this issue since 2K11 in terms of what they needed to do, and yet they still haven't done it yet. And it's very clear that they're not going to do it. Probably not until they get a new engine. But 2K was spayed and neutered on this recent update they did. Now, I played a handful of games. I'm not an online guy, and I don't really mess with online like that unless your game is tight. There's not really many games that are tight like that would warrant for me to want to play it online, sports wise, unless it's like combat sports. Like, I played UFC online before. I played the EA UFC online, and even the Undisputed series. I played, those when that series was out. I played those games online because those excuse me, those games were tight. For the most part, the mechanics, the responsiveness, the control was very tight online for the most part. But as far as 2K basketball, the animations, the overload of animations, ball tangibility, and the AI, all of them were pretty much problematic to me at launch, and it only got worse. There is not a single game that I played in 2K where I could create a highlight reel of good stuff, but then I could create a highlight reel of some of the most Neanderthal-esque, lethargic kind of happenings in terms of what the AI does, especially to the user in the game. And that's why when you have things like that going on, that ACE system that OG and them put in, it doesn't mean anything. Because you can't have an AI-driven system when your core AI is still faulty, very faulty. It doesn't matter how many beautiful-looking animations you got when your AI is messed up. Your ball tangibility isn't on point, but yet every year we're improving it. Well, how many years are you going to improve on it? And the thing is, it plays out the same way in terms of the problems it has. Like, it's still the same kind of problems. Ball's tied into these animation sequences, and the ball suctions into this guy's hand and morphs through this and morphs through that. But then let you run into your teammate. You could graze your teammate with the ball in that hand, and all of a sudden it comes loose. All of a sudden the physics are spot on. Like, come on. That's ridiculous. And it happens end over end over end. So these guys spayed the game. They neutered the game even more. So now it's not really about fundamental basketball at all now. It's simple so that now little Timmy and Johnny, and I ain't even saying the kids, the grown-ups. Just like we talked about, what I was talking about with Madden. It's the same deal. They nerfed it. They nerfed basketball for the sake of pleasing everybody, trying to please everybody, instead of just tightening the game up for the sake of the sport. And that's what really pisses me off about 2K, and that's why I can't play that game that much. You know what I'm saying? But now, I could play live all day long, even with it being as rough, even with the roughness that it has and the rawness that it has, because the patches and updates they've done for that game aren't hurting it. They only enhance the game, especially playing Pro-Am. That mode in particular has gotten a lot tighter and a lot cleaner with the updates they've done. So when I look at 2K and the animation takeovers and the the AI issues only just being amplified multiple times over, I can't play that game regardless of the modes they have, because like I've said on previous shows, modes are an extension of your gameplay, of the core gameplay. If the core gameplay is busted in multiple areas, which are primary areas, then your modes aren't going to mean anything. It's not going to matter how many modes you have or how much depth those modes have. You know what I'm saying? That's why I've said to Sim and AZ, and I've said to Kia, real talk, Live 17 may be my only basketball game. Like, straight up. Because regardless of how cute, because I know 2K is going to look real nice, but it's going to come down to what happens when the game gets tuned. What are they going to do? When they tune and patch, what's going to happen? How much basketball is going to be taken out? And what are they going to fix? You see what I'm saying? Now, when we're talking about the whole engine paradigm, okay, the reason why, when you look at NBA 2K, and we talk about the console generation, okay, this is year 3 on these consoles. Honestly, it takes more than 3 years to truly harness the development capability. It usually takes 5 to 6 at least to truly grasp and harness the capability of what can be done on that platform, on that console. Because every time a console comes out or is getting ready to come out, from Dreamcast to Saturn, Saturn, Super Nintendo, Genesis, PS2, PS3, Gen 1, 2, 3, and 4. When they do these presentations at E3 or whatever show it is they do them at, oh, we got all this processing power, all this capability. Now all these companies are already working on games. They got all these IPs, and we're going to be able to do so much. That's said about every single platform generation. But it takes them at least 5-6 years to realize the potential of what they are able to do, and then they got to actually harness it. Look at NBA 2K. Now, this is from me talking to VF, talking to Tico, and looking at reviews from other people. NBA 2K, they said NBA 2K 15 and 16 on Gen 3 is better than Gen 4. It's a cleaner game. It's a smoother game. It's a more responsive game. You don't have nearly as much of the nonsense that's going on. Why is that? See what I'm saying? When the game nearly maxes out on that console platform, they're just doing tunes and tweaks. Yeah, we add some animations, but they tune and tweak it because the game is already packed in tight. There's only so much more they can do with it at that point before you go to another generation console, and now you got to start over in the essence of trying to get used to a new console platform. See what I mean? So it works the way that stuff works. And I know when we talk about the whole, that's why when we talk about, oh man, this console, they're able to do this, they're able to do that, they should be able to do everything. It don't work that way. It doesn't matter what calendar year it is. You know what I'm saying? That's like taking a Dodge Challenger, like a 1970 some odd, 1972 or whatever Dodge Challenger, and a 2016 Dodge Challenger. Let's say you have a team of mechanics. And all they give you is the body. They give you the body, but they put all the parts you need to build it. All the parts you need to build it, they lay it all out on the ground and say, okay, now we want you guys to build it. It's going to take pretty much the same amount of time to build both cars from start to finish. But guess what? It'll be the same calendar year no matter what. But it took them both the same amount of time to get the car built. See what I'm saying? Man, it's 20, but what's the argument that people make out here? Man, it's 2015, it's 2016 and all that. Man, they should be able to do this and do that and da-da-da. It don't work that way. It's not gonna go faster. You can give the person the tools, but guess what? Rex, Clint, Scant, A-Dub, all these dudes, they gotta learn that technology. Just because you give it to them doesn't mean that they can do it just like that. You know what I'm saying? These guys aren't. They're not. This is not the Matrix. They're not hardwired into the console initiatives. They just download the stuff to their brain and they could do it like that. It doesn't work that way. You got to learn from what you got, and you have to evolve it progressively. That's just the way it is. So when you scream out new engine, look at these games. I'm going to name the following games off: NBA Live, EA UFC, NHL, PGA Tour. As a matter of fact, you could go to Assassin's Creed even, because they put that Anvil engine. When they put that engine on that game and tried to release it in that same time frame, look at how bad of a debacle they had at launch. And AC Unity, they had to patch that game like 5, 6, 7 times because the game was so messed up. They used brand new technology in terms of rendering, graphics, the crowds you have on the ground, all that stuff. And they tried to get it in one fell swoop. Doesn't that remind you of what happened with NBA Elite? The difference here is that Ubisoft released Unity. Whereas EA, they said, no, we're just going to scratch it. We're not going to release it. But EA hit the reset button on the Live series with that engine they had, which is what NBA Elite was. So they came out with Live 14, and they went through the rough patch that they went through with development. That's part of building up. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I listen to, the Live committee and everything. Shout out to those guys. I respect their ambition, and others too. They're saying that, but their expectations are extremely lofty and unrealistic. They're making demands like, everything from Live 10 better be in Live 17, and it better be a 40 gigabyte game, and all that. Look, I understand you expect everything to be in the game, but that's not realistic. Live is building their game up realistically based off of that engine. The difference between them, I'm like, but you can't compare them to 2K. 2K has been building on the same engine since Dreamcast. Their engine that they're using is at least 17 or 18 years old. It's just been tweaked and modified to fit on those generations. They've been playing with the same exact engine forever. They ain't scrapped. That's why when they do those patches and updates, think about it. EA, UFC, the games I just named off, UFC, NHL, PGA Tour, Live. Those games did updates and patches for the past few years with their games since they updated their franchise. Excuse me. Since they hit the reset button, you don't see their updates breaking the game at all. They're not breaking the game. If so, it's minimal. It's a minimal malfunction that they can patch or tune or whatever. 2K, they're completely breaking their game with their patches because they got 18 years of coding. They can't just go back and just straighten that all out in one fell swoop. It don't work like that. And that's what I'm saying. When we scream out engine, you're hitting reset. And you got to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You look at what UFC did, and they were able to put a feature into the game, finish the fight. They put a complete fighting mechanic, a new fighting mechanic, which usually you would have to wait till the next game to come out. They put it in doing a patch. NBA Live. Then they did the exact same thing. NBA Live did it with they put in the shoot-around mode and everything in Live 14 via patch. See what I'm saying? You had that. These were things that weren't there, and they added them in via patch. Whereas you would never see that happen any other time in the past because they wouldn't be capable to because of the engine, everything that's already on it. You wouldn't be able to do it. And that's why I can appreciate when they do a new engine, you're hitting that reset button and you're starting over. You're talking about taking time. You're going to have to deal with the frustration of things being, quote unquote, taken out the game. Look, NBA 2K13, the post game in that is way better than 2K16, in my opinion. Even Live Mob, we discussed that and everything. You know, I popped it in, played it. It's way smoother, way cleaner, way better than 2K16. But you know what? 2K13, they took out the ability to block dunks, only to recycle it and bring it back in 2K14. See what I'm saying? And at that time, that was like, what, their 14th game they've made? But yet, we're pouncing on Live and we're pouncing on these other titles that are on installment number 1, 2, 3. They hit reset. So you can't go off of the legacy in the past and say, they just need to. No, they can't do it. Same thing with Madden. I had somebody comment on my video talking about, man, they just need to take from PS2 what they did there. That was scrapped in 2005 with Madden 06 on Next Gen. And that was a debacle of a launch. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But the point is that when you come out with these games and you scream out new engines, we're talking about hitting reset. Now, would I like these companies to do that? Yes, I would love to see everybody hit reset because I see the potential that's happening with these games with them hitting reset. Look at NHL. There are many people that say, this is the best NHL ever. Look at that UFC, and did you see those knockout physics? That was gorgeous. I don't know if you saw the trailer or not, Sim, but
yeah, beautiful.
McGregor, oh my gosh. See, that stuff right there, automatically, I'm already in the back of my mind, man, they need to make Fight Night. They need to make Fight Night. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? They need to make Fight Night. And the only reason why Fight Night ain't happening right now is because they made that deal with the UFC. So that's, at least that's primarily from, reading and looking into things. That's at least what was put out there. So I don't know that's official. But the point is that, getting back to the main point here is that look at what you're able to do when you hit reset and you start over from scratch with a rough beginning. Yeah, a lot of people compare EA UFC to Undisputed 3, which isn't a fair comparison because you're comparing a first effort to a third one. That's not really fair. But at the same time, though, that's the whole entire, this is next gen, so it should just be there type, mindset. What people got to understand is that, I'll end it with this and I'll pass it to you, Sim, is that, we have the mindset of they should just be able to do it because of what calendar year it is and look at what technological advances are out. That's fine. That there's nothing wrong with having that mindset, but the expectation has to be one of, okay, it's going to take them some time to build this out. Now, you can set whatever bar, whatever ultimatum you want and say, well, they got X amount of years for me and I'm done with it. That's fine. But just think about whatever series it is you defer to, just think about how many years it took for that game that you're playing to get to. Like 2K5. 2K5 is the byproduct of at least 7 years of consistent lead development. And that's what you had my man Greg Thomas, he was the freaking CEO of the company that made the game. And he was the lead producer. Basically, he was the Jerry Jones of the 2K series. You know what I'm saying? He owned the team and he's the GM. Like he calls all the shots. So he had a great vision in terms of making a football game, by far. Great vision. But then he called the shots in terms of what they did in terms of building that game out. Rex doesn't hold that position. He doesn't own EA Sports, and he's the lead guy over gameplay. No, he doesn't hold that position. So he can't come out and call them shots like that. See what I'm saying? But what needs to be understood across the board is that, as far as, like I said, I'm hitting multiple points here, but as far as when we're talking about the engine aspect and the patching and the tunings, at some point, Madden is going to have to go to a new engine. And guess what? When they do that, their game's going to take a hit to some level. We don't know what kind of hit, but it's going to take one. You know what I'm saying? But look at these other games and see what it's going to be for the better part. We're going to see what UFC in in March, and I'm glad it's March and not June, but we're going to see what happens when you see this game on a new engine and what they're able to do. And look, and I read about this too as well. PGA Tour, they got another course that they're about to add on via update and patch. They're going to add on another course. But then also they have something else. They said they have another surprise or whatever that they've been working on that they're going to add in. They said they spent a decent amount of development time being preoccupied with. They didn't give detail on it. But the point of the matter is, if they were working off of the same system they were using for Tiger Woods all those years, I bet you they wouldn't even be able to do that and say, well, we got to hit y'all with the next game in order to do it. So there's a big plus to it, but the problem, but you got to be realistically patient with what's going on when it comes to these things happening. That's why I'd rather use a new engine and hit reset versus keep the old engine and just scrape away the game, and we all got to suffer because X number of people can't handle the way the game plays. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather not be that. And that's, like I said earlier on, there needs to be a tuner, and there definitely needs to be a separate mode for those people that can't handle what football or whatever that sport is truly is giving to you and offering in that, that year or for that installment. So I'll throw it to you there, Sim.
Yeah, man. I mean, Smitty covered a whole lot of it. I mean, he hit all of the points. So I'll just try to, respond to a couple things. And, I think even after that, we're probably ready for callers. But first of all, with the engine thing, and we talk about this all the time, but I don't think everybody knows what exactly they're referring to when they say they want another engine. Or, the game can't do this because of the engine. And, we've said several times, and I can't say that I know for sure, but just from talking to devs and stuff like that, I'm able to gather my own opinion. And to me, the engine, when you talk about the engine, you kind of want to look at it like performance. How well will it perform? One area I would talk about in Madden, and I think a lot of guys would agree, we might need a new engine to get the fluidity down. Player movement. that to me might be an engine thing. It's not necessarily a technology thing because in my mind, I'm like, well, what could they do via tech, like add new tech that could change the player movement, the way the people move on the field? Now, one would say, well, look at True Step. Absolutely. True Step was a technology. It wasn't, now, don't get me wrong. I think in the world of gaming and things like that, I think they do have sub-names. Like they might say our physics engine, our gameplay engine, our presentation engine, So I don't want us to get lost in just that word. It's just like how we do with simulation. A lot of times people get lost in the word simulation. What I'm saying is most people, when they say engine, they're just talking about the platform the game runs on. Not everybody understands the subtext and like the sub parts of an engine and things like that. So my point is, using True Step did change the way that they kind of behave as far as movement, but sliding is still there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you still get the sliding and gliding from time to time. Not as bad, but even Rex said it on the show. The warping, the popping. I think those things require a new engine. The way, you understand what I'm saying? The way the people move. Not necessarily technique or features. And I think that's where some people get lost. Because you got to understand, me and Smitty have done this a long time. As far as being these, critiquers and critics or what have you of the game. Y'all know how far we go back on YouTube, but we've been gamers for a long time as well. So I think anytime you've done something for a long time, you're kind of qualified to have an educated opinion, if you will. It doesn't take a rocket scientist if you've been doing this and playing games and all that to figure out what the problem is. Because as Smitty always tells you guys, as you can tell, we play a lot of games. Between Smitty, Azur, and I, we have played multiple games of different genres. So we see the things that are done on this game versus that game versus that game. We can develop our own opinion. As far as engines, I think what EA needs to do as far as sport, clear to me that they need to go to Frostbite. Because Frostbite, if you look at the games that have Frostbite, you see better fluidity, better animation quality, better environment. So it just makes me think, what could Madden do with an environment like PGA Tour? And PGA Tour is a little behind. Look at like Battlefield. What could it do with those type of aspects? Like, I've shown people on Battlefront, like the weather, all of that kind of stuff, and even those players, they move kind of fluid. Battlefront is a very smooth game. Like that game, I'm not getting into the animation of it because we all, we can critique that for days, how lifelike a person moves. But just the fluidity and the smoothness of that, Madden don't feel like that. You know what I mean? So I think Madden, and along with the other sports titles, could take that engine for performance as far as, what we want to see the game encompass, like as far as, the trenches and all of that. That kind of stuff can be done without the new engine because we have it now. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, and I hope some of you guys call in and give your opinion on it. We got the DB and wideout interaction. We got the trench battles. We got the different catch animations. We have the, throw the ball where you want and all of that. But maybe the new engine allows physics to be independent and dynamic. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the thing that I'm kind of torn with a little bit, Smitty, is like, I don't know enough about it other than my educated guess. Obviously it didn't take a new engine to get physics. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe a new engine allows more things to disappear in these games. I don't know because, I try to look at all of the things that every single game lacks in. And we can all agree, ball tangibility, morphing, and clipping is an area that all of these games have problems. Even the shooting. your gun still goes through the wall. You know what I mean? Or if you're laying down and prone, the gun is still in the ground. You know, you bring it relative to Madden. When we talk about player movement, they don't actually plant their foot and push into the ground, and the ground, presses down. That kind of stuff, I think, might be an engine thing. But as far as, football fundamentals, I don't think it requires that. And I think a lot of us in this gaming community get twisted with that. Because, hey, Smitty just showed an outstanding example in one of his recent videos. Look at Backbreaker. See how clean and dynamic physics was in that? That was a generation ago. So I don't know. I think, and this is the last thing, and then I'll throw it back to you. I think the core of what Madden runs on might be intact, so to speak, but maybe it does need another engine for performance. I kind of look at it like, I have a Mac. The Mac and my processor and all of that, that's my engine. But on my Mac, I have Final Cut Pro, I have GarageBand, I have all these different programs. To me, that's the technology that you have in the game that produce the ability to do stuff, to have, the catching and the running and blah, blah, blah. But, I think that the performance of it is where that engine comes into play. But all in all, man, just to kind of, like always, I usually agree with what Smitty is saying. I agree with everything he said about where games need to go. I mean, these patches and things are cool, man, but what upsets me, Smitty, is like you said, I don't understand these game companies, and Madden included. And I know that, the devs will probably hear this, and they know. We talk like this in front of them. And believe it or not, let me say this. The devs listen, if it was up to Rex, that's all I'm gonna say. Y'all finish that sentence.
Yeah.
It ain't the devs, man, but just these companies. They keep saying they're not catering, or they'll say stuff like this. We hear this all the time, where, the game is so big and so many people like it. So other words, you can't make everybody happy. Just make it what it is. Stop tweaking. Because you tweak it one way, this way, and you tweak it one way, that way, and then people don't like it no more. Or this crowd is happy, but now this crowd doesn't like it. You can't please everybody. But what does please everyone is the representation of that sport, period. And if it's too hard for you, maybe you just can't do it. That's the only way to be successful, in my opinion. You can't keep catering, nerfing things, because honestly, it's opinion. And I feel like the opinion that you should go with, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, I see that we're under an hour left. We have 3 calls in the queue, and we still have 757 to bring on. But this is the last thing I would say, because I think, Smitty, we kind of rolled all the topics into one. It worked out perfectly. Yeah. But go with your own opinion. And I'm talking about the teams. Y'all's opinion, when y'all tune these games and y'all say, I think we got it. Let's ship it like this. Keep that. Stop listening to all these millions of opinions, because then you're getting away from what you felt. Y'all make the game. Don't lose your own feeling. Like I told the devs that about Matt right to their faces. I was like, yo, man. And Smitty did the same thing. When Madden 16 came out, we was like, yo, this right here, yeah, this is good right here. What y'all did, the way y'all tuned this up, because we went back there and we played the game after everything was all tuned up. We was like, oh yeah, we're in a good space right now. Trust your gut, man. Like if everybody in the building agreed to that, why are you letting outsiders deter your mindset? Like don't do that, because you can't please everybody anyway. Stick to what y'all thought was that product that y'all stood up and did interviews about and was pumped your chest out. Stick with that. And that same goes for 2K, because I am very disappointed to hear what Smitty is saying. And, shout out to NY Kia and Lock Mob and guys like that. telling me that this game has been nerfed. Like, come on, man. I just said, yo, I'm gonna start doing some my league and my player. I didn't know that all of this had happened. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, I do have one other point. Speaking of my player, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that because the AI. Oh my God, I'm a shooting guard. Because I mean, if you anything else, if you ain't the point, you ain't gonna get the ball. And I ain't getting the ball right now. I mean, I'm wide open. Sometimes I call for it, and this dude Jared Jack will not pass me the ball. And they just jack up. Oh, man, the AI and my play, it's like they force you to play ball hog status. Like, and then you're graded on it. That's a whole other discussion. I'm not even going to jump into that tonight, and we could talk about that forever. But I just wanted to say that because Smitty mentioned the AI. And yes, the AI in these games, man, are just crazy in certain modes. So it goes back to the foundation of your product. But anyway, man, we've talked enough. Time flies when you're having fun. Let's go ahead and get guys on the line. We have calls in the queue. We're going to bring 757 on first for his segment. Then after that, it looks like we have 803, 205, and then 410. All right, so let's go ahead and get 757 in real quick. 757, man, we're happy to have you tonight, man. Happy New Year.
Hey, fellas, I first want to, before I start my little segment, I want to first of all say Happy New Year to the Sim Standard. I hope everything is good with you and the fam. My man just had a little one. I hope everything is good. My thing is, all right, we're in 16, the year physical 16. We're going to 17. Where are we going? I'm very disappointed in where we are in next gen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's two variables that are taking place. As I listen to you guys, I'm a business owner, so I get it. I get the tiers of how the whole pecking order works as far as influential conversations. Now, first, we need to find out who in the world is the head of marketing and where they at on Twitter. Where they at on Facebook. Because it's obviously that we're attacking the wrong people. Because as the conversation comes to me, it's Rex and the team wants to do one thing, and the marketing team and investors want to do another. So we need to do a little homework and do a little research in the same way that we have created energies for wanting a new game. Why don't we create that same kind of energy of wanting them to give us the best football game and the best representation of the sport, period. What we played at the beginning of the year and what we're playing now is two different games. It's almost like we didn't win in the time to 15. We got suction tackles. We got defensive linemen at the beginning of 16 that could block shed. Do people realize how hard it is to move a 352-pound man with a 300-pound guard one-on-one? It's virtually impossible. If he's not going. Some of the tackles that ain't even very good not going. It's physically impossible almost for them to move him one-on-one. It's happening again. Tackles are getting pushed back. You're taking 2 steps, then you're block shedding. It's almost like we're going back into time. And it's frustrating because I see the work that those guys do at the beginning of 16. It was a brilliant game, and they tuned it down. And why weren't they creating more tutorials and saying, well, no aggressive catches isn't overpowered. This is how you stop it. This is how you defend it. Because we have a Twitch EA channel that usually seems like it's used 3 times a year. When the game come out, some like promo that they're trying to promote in this new tournament, and that's it. Mm-hmm. We want representation. We want representation of the sport. It's no way to please us and please the tournament guys and please the casual crew. It's impossible because each one of us wants something different. Just give us football like FIFA is giving those guys over there soccer. I see what the EA crew is doing. I see that Donnie Moore is leaving. I see certain guys is leaving, and they're bringing a new crew in with innovation, technology, and brilliant minds. But it's a waste if you're not letting them do the real work. It's a waste because I'm getting agitated with Rex, and I realize it ain't him. Because I don't think that he's pulling our leg. I think he wants to go in the way of representation of football, but he's handcuffed. So my question to you guys, all right, who the hell is the marketing team and where they at? So we can go get on them. Where are they at on the Twitter? Where are they at in Facebook? So we can put a little fire under them and say, stop the shenanigans, bro. Because we're supposed to be moving forward with a new a next-gen video game system, and we still haven't gotten to that place because we're seeing Uncharted. We're seeing Star Wars. Y'all guys say hockey is unbelievable. If these games are moving forward, then we have to hold everybody that's accountable with the EA Sports Madden team responsible. And we got to put the fire under everybody because we can't move nowhere. We can't. We will continue to be stagnated and frustrated until we find out what is the proper code and what do we need to say to help move this moving forward. Because if we do not figure that out, then you guys going down there is a waste. Madden Shop going down there is a waste because you guys are going to see a picture, you're going to see a game, and then knowing that you guys can't give us any information because I know it's not going to stay there. They're not going to like being able to do this. They're not going to be able to like to do that because guys just want to continue to play Madden, and we have to get rid of that stigma of playing Madden and playing football because you still haven't given me the gameplay trailer that you showed me with RG3 that you told me was gameplay. I'm going to keep pounding that door till I see that. Oh, I got to move on to another sport. Because if it's not Rex, like you guys telling me, then if it's the other crew, then we'll never get past the Wizard of Oz at that door. We'll never get past it because he will not let them be creative and take true calculated risk. They will not. It is showing us now. This is what we're seeing. So now they go and they patch it. Then he tried to sneak a few more things in there. If you read what the patch and fix were, they tried to put the stuff back in for us. And then it just broke everything. You're seeing suction tackles now. We didn't see that at the beginning of 16. Now you can tackle somebody from 2.5 yards away with that same animation that we seen in 15 that did not exist at the beginning of 16. Where are we going and what are we doing? But you can't tell me about innovation. You can't tell me to continue to give them time because the time is not the problem. It's the execution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the execution. And if you guys are developers and you worked your butt off for 9 months to get this game right, the tunage is right, we brought the crew down, everything is straight, and then somebody comes back in the room to you and say, all the work that you've done, strip it out. Tune it down. Are you really going to work as hard as you did for the first 9 months for the next 3 to do a tuning? You're going to pull this, you're going to patch this, tag that, and keep it moving. Man, so it has to be super frustrating. So now you got guys in there year after year after year knowing what the end result is going to be. How are you going to expect me to put my best foot forward when I know what the end result is going to be with all my hard work? And that's regression, not progression. And I'll close with this. Listen, you guys are going to continue to go down there. I don't know what the end result is going to be of this, but it's frustrating. You either got to send us over in a hub, create a mode for us, or do something where it's a simulation base. And then you can tune and slash and cut and patch and paste all you want over there on the other side. But give us football. That's all we asking for. Not for us, not for them, not for nobody. Put a representation of the game on the field and let us all freaking figure it out. That's all we want. In the AFC, I'm going with Pittsburgh and Kansas City. It's about the war in the trenches this year, gentlemen. Pass rush, that pressure going to bust pipes this year. I think that Pittsburgh can put enough pressure and run enough coverages to confuse AJ because he's young. And it's just defenses that you're only going to see with time. I don't care how much studying he do. It's just experience in the game. He's just going to throw a couple of picks. Y'all guys just got to score when y'all get those turnovers. Kansas City, I think they're on an 8-9 game winning streak. They hot as fish grease. They in the cut. They almost reminded me of the Patriots the year that they beat the Rams. Nobody was talking about them, but they was beating the brakes off of everybody that year, if people remember. I just think Houston, that defense, Smith is playing good ball. They're moving the ball. They do not have a lot of injuries, which is key. And I think that offensive line is not going to hold up to get New England to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. I just do not see it. So I'm going with 2 wild card games in the AFC. I mean, to go to the Super Bowl, I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers and Kansas City. And in the NFC, I think that Seattle is coming, and they're going to be a problem. They pissed off, and they're experienced. They know how to win, man. They had to figure out some things, get some pieces back together, and just go play ball. And that's what they're doing. They're the most dangerous team in the National Football I see. So I see. I'm going with Seattle, and I think Carolina's going to hold on. They got home field throughout, and we're going to be turning up out here for them. Trust it, believe it. You come through here, we're going to be rowdy. The thing is, we got a hurt corner, right? A starting other corner outside of the kid that we got. He's hurt, and I just don't know if the other 2 corners are old, and I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up. That's my worry on that defense. They're going to attack that backside corner like crazy. That's my concern. I think Cam's going to do his thing. Stewart's got to run the ball well, and I think that Seattle's probably have a great opportunity of beating Carolina and Carolina at home to return to the Super Bowl. I just think that they're just at a great place. It's going to be an unbelievable game, but I just don't know us. Benjamin we're going to miss him now in the playoffs. We didn't miss him up to this point. Ted Ginn got a hamstring or ankle. You know, so he's not 100%. And I think that they're gonna run that cover. They're gonna run that cover 3 smash on us. Gonna sit Cam Chancellor in that alleyway and say beat us. Guys, I appreciate your time. I know I said a whole lot in a little bit, but it's just frustrating because you guys are going down there and working your butt off. I believe Rex and them guys are going down there to put us a great game. And what we had with 16 was a turnkey game for us to start moving forward with football as a whole. I'm going to take the word simulation out of there because it's just this word. I thought we was moving forward with football, and now it seems like we're regressing because some of the things that I've seen at the beginning of the other year were not there that I'm seeing now that I've seen in 15, and it's very disheartening. Fellas, I appreciate your time. You know how I feel about y'all, man, and salute.
Yeah, man. You already know, man. I mean,
right.
That's why we have you on. I mean, I think Smitty agrees, man. I mean, I think we're all at that point. I mean, even with us being behind the curtain, it's like, I can't wait to go down this year. I mean, because I talk to these guys all the time, man, but, you know, I'm going to cause a stir next time I get in there, you know, because it's, every now and then we see a couple of execs in there, guys that we've talked to before, and I'm going to pull them to the side and be like, look, man, I'm just a little guy and you know, little fish in this big pond or whatever you want to call it. But y'all need to cut it out, man. I mean, it's like it's getting to the point where, like you said, where are we going? Where are we going?
Yeah.
You know, you just stop giving us stuff and taking it away. And like I said, man, we know personally that, like last year, when the inaccurate passes got turned down, you know, tell y'all something that y'all don't know. We knew that was going to happen before everybody did.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and I'm not going to say names, but I remember being there, and that was brought to our attention. And we was like, why? And we was told why it was happening. This is why we keep telling everybody the Sim crowd needs to be louder, because there was another crowd. You know, it was basically, you know, the Mutt people. They had this big old tournament, somebody lost, and all of this, you know, riff-raff and all that. Next thing you know, the powers that be was like, no, we need to adjust that. Come on, man. it's like something 5-7 said. In a minute, I'm gonna still get my feedback and all that. Like, I'm not leaving the building. Y'all ain't gotta worry about that. But in a minute, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna. I got other games to play. I'm gonna get to the point where it's like, yo, if you ain't there, I'll play you here and there, but I'll play other stuff more. You know, it's just like I said on the video I released earlier. It's all these breakdowns and all that. Like, I was going to do that, but man, it's so redundant. It's so redundant. We know the problem. We know what we still want to see. Every now and then, if I'm playing a game and I see something nice, I'll point it out. If I see a horrendous flaw, I'll point that out. But it's like we're at the point now where we've critiqued it until the turn-up is can't bleed no more. You know what I mean? You can't get blood out of it. We know what the problems are. Like, it's a mute point at this point. So why waste all of that time doing that? But I don't know, Smitty, if you got something to add to that, you know, before we grab the callers.
No, I really don't. I mean, everything was said, you know, spot on. I feel you, like, as far as, that's why I say, like, I'm looking forward to when we do go down there, because, like, we really got to break bread on these things, man. Like, you know, we can't, because, don't get, and like you said, we're saying it because these guys go before, you know, they go at E3 and all that and say, like, you know, we're giving simulation football and blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, it'll be just about, if not already there, but then it gets nerfed because you got these casuals and these quote unquote sim casuals that complain about aspects. Like, I was looking through videos from some guys today, and some of these dudes that were commenting were the exact same guys that were talking about how Madden needs to be more authentic and it needs to be this, that, and the third. And these dudes are saying, oh, this aggressive catching, oh, it's overpowered. It's OP. It's OP. I'm like, and I'm just shaking my head looking. I'm like, man, these dudes, I feel like flaming some of these dudes. But I'm like, you know what? And I'm like, see, this is why. And that's what we're saying. When you see these people go online on Twitter and all that stuff and complain and whine about all that stuff, tweet NFL clips to these guys and show me, like, so then tell me what's wrong here. This is the NFL. This is what Madden is supposed to be like, and you're saying that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said last week, Sim, you talked about broken coverage, not last week, but that last show. You talked about broken coverage and how people would have a conniption if that was Madden. I'm like, that's my point. Mm-hmm. People need to learn and understand. Like, they're not watching. They're not paying attention to what they're watching. They just see something and say, oh, my gosh, look what happened. Pay attention. Just like earlier in the year, what Antonio Brown did, I forgot who it was against, but he basically ran a loop-de-loop and was able to fake out the defense off of it. He pulled a Madden move and was able to run. Like, that, are you kidding me? If that happened in Madden, people are like, oh, it's so broken, play 2K5. But no, this happened in the NFL. You can't go around that. See what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying it things are happening in Madden that we swore up and down we wanted to happen so badly because we said it happened in 2K. We said it happened everywhere else except Madden. Now it's happening in Madden, and we want it to be toned down. The heck out of here, man. That's why I said there are other football games. You got backyard football. You got NFL Street. You got NFL Tour. You got NFL Blitz. You want a choice? Pick your poison and play that. Don't nerf the game that us true dudes that wanted it, we wanted it. If y'all can't handle it, then go ahead and step down a few levels and just own up to the fact that you just can't handle football and stay in your lane. Play something where you could get a participation badge just for playing, okay? Stick to that. So that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, man, pretty much. I mean, I agree with that 100%. So let's go ahead and grab the calls again in the order. 80-256 and then 410. We're at 34 minutes Let's everyone try to keep it as brief as possible. We'll do the same when I end to get everybody in. We do have Azure on the line now as well, so you guys know the routine. Smitty will reply to 803. Azure can handle 205, and then I'll reply to 410. So let's go ahead and open up the lines. 803, we got you on live. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? How y'all been? Happy New Year.
Good.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, bro.
What up, man? What's going on, man? I was chilling. It's VF, man. I just wanted to drop in for a second and say a few things.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Well, everything good. What 757 said is basically profound of what we are dealing with these sports titles. The inaccurate passes was nerfed in 15. Now you have all this other stuff going on in Madden 16. You also have everything pretty much been nerfed online in 2K. I mean, all this stuff is basically correlation of the casuals overtaking what we want. There's nothing wrong with getting a simulation game. Just give it, like you said earlier, Sam. Get the game to represent the sport, and everything else take care of itself. If they can't catch up to speed with the knowledge of then sorry for you. I mean, there's NFL blitz for you, you know. But I mean, for me, I'm in a different space now, man. I mean, I don't know I've just been doing different things on my channel, different things as far as gaming. I just went back to the roots of what got me gaming, man. I play different games now, and what Smitty said is right. NBA 2K16 on the Xbox 360 and PS3, I mean, it's light years ahead of the next-gen console when it comes to the sport. I mean, next gen gives you all the flash, it gives you all the glitz, gives you all the bells and whistles. But if you want to run plays, if you want to, exploit matchups, if you want to, if you want to just have your matchups play out the way they should based on the personnel, and it plays out correctly. You don't have, like you said, and I haven't played 2K since the patch. I just haven't. I'm not the next gen version anyway. But nobody's complaining about the last gen games because not many people are on them. But at the same time, the correlation is there. What you have in the beginning of the game when it's first release, it stays that way because nobody complains. I can't say there's not enough people on the 360 because there are people that play the game. I watch them. I see them online. I see them at the blacktop. I see them playing. But nobody really speaks up about that version of the games compared to the next ones. And for all intents and purposes, the developers or the people who are working on the games, they're more focused on the next gen titles. But at the end of the day, fellas, I think we all are last of a dying breed when we want, the sport replicated in these games, because I've seen it. It's just like a cycle. It's too many times where you see fundamentals getting nerfed out of a game, just like 757 said. Inaccurate passes have no reason not to be in the game. These tackles, these suction tackles that are happening in Madden 16, it should not be that way. These things that are football, like what you see in the NFL, it happens. It should be there. But like you said, the guy said something and they took it out. It shouldn't be that way. But I don't know if it's going to get better. I hope it do. But at the same time, I found my avenue, man. I found my avenue to play what's replicating the best, regardless if it came out in 2001 or if it comes out in 2018. I'm going to get my enjoyment at the end of the day. I'm going to get my replication at the end of the day. I'm not going to let some punk kids who don't know how to read a cover 2 get mad and start complaining, and it dictates what we want. I'm not going to let it happen. So I hope we get there, but I don't know, fellas. I don't know. It just happened too many times. That's all I gotta say.
Go ahead, Smitty.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely like said, I talk with VF and we tweet and we broke we've broke a few loaves of bread off in terms of, you know, this aspect. Like, I mean, as we all know, like, we know, I definitely know he plays, you know, like, he's playing original Street Fighter and all these shooter games and everything. Like, he's playing a lot of everything old school, and he's going back and he's, you know, he's shown it on Twitter. He's playing old NCAA and Madden titles and all that stuff. Like, he's really doing some vintage gaming right now. So, you know, but the points he made were spot on. It's like, this is, you know, these, like, Madden needs to turn a corner that they never have turned before. And I think, especially when you're in the position of a VP or, you know, in that high of a spot, you may not be comfortable with doing that to this series, but you are okay to doing it with other series like FIFA and carrying on. I think Madden needs to go ahead and make that change and keep it that way. Don't defer. Keep it that way. Don't make changes because, you know, these youngins can't get it. You got to keep it that way and keep pushing it in that direction no matter what they're doing. And that's just, you know, and that's how we, you know, we've definitely voiced that, but, you know, that's how I feel that it definitely needs to be in order for Madden to truly go forward. Deal with that discomfort period, but then people going to come around anyways, and they're going to buy the game. 9 times out of 10, they're going to buy the game anyways and still keep playing it. So just want, you know, so yeah, that's basically all I got to say on that. Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for the call. Absolutely. On to the next. 205 AZ will give you your reply. What's going on with you, man? How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How are y'all?
Good, man.
What's up, man?
What up?
Hope you had a great holidays and Christmas and, you know, whatever y'all celebrate, you know. Happy New Year and everything like that. I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch me and Wakia play our game for our league yesterday or not, but that was a really fun game between me and him. There's a lot of strategy going on. A lot of things that happened in that game. You know, I scored first, and then he come right back down and scored. I got up 10-7, and then, you know, he scored. It was 14-10. So it was a really good game back and forth until the fourth quarter. And I made some mistakes, you know, late in the game. And I went for it on a 4th and 1 late in the fourth quarter trying to, you know, get in position because I was down by 7. And it ended up, I got shorted, even though I went for a quarterback sneak. And I got a half a yard, but I didn't get the full yard. So then I started having to throw the ball, doing things I didn't want to do, getting away from the run game because I was running out of time. And then I scored again, and then he scored and got back up by 10. So, yeah, it was a really fun game. And if Kia's listening out there, man, I appreciate that, man. That was like one of the best games I've played all year outside of playing with 757 and some other guys that's in the league. But, yeah, it was really fun to play that game. And getting on some, you know, this whole sports, you know, title thing. You know, the PS4 and Xbox is just now hit its 2-year part of being out just this past November. But we've had, you know, 3 game cycles for sports coming out. And to look at it, it's really sad to see where Madden went, how great it played at the beginning of the year, and then it just, how it's just took this huge nosedive. It's like you took and tied a cinder block to a dead man and buried him in the ocean, you know, and now he's ice cold now. And nobody really seems to care outside of the people in the league that's still trying to keep this thing going. Everybody else has moved on. You know, I'm out here trying to play 2K, but it's broken beyond belief. I mean, you can sit at the 3-point line and just literally throw up threes now, and it's just almost automatic buckets. It's kind of sad when you're hitting 80% from the 3-point line, you know, in my player. I mean, and, you know, I know Sim was talking about he's not getting the ball. Wait till you get to be like a 90 overall. By that time, you're going to get the ball and score about 80 points a game. So get ready for that. I mean, it's once you get the badges unlocked, it's almost like you're beyond Michael Jordan. It's like you're some alien out there. It's not even funny. And then when you get on, out there when you're playing in my park and you got these guys that's 99 overalls doing all this stuff and just literally throwing it up from half court line. I know AZ knows what I'm talking about because I see him playing on all the time, and I know he knows. But there was a couple things I wanted to talk about because we beat this dead horse about sports games to death. But I was looking at a video with MLB is coming out in March on the 29th. The show's coming out, so I was looking at a video with one of the guys that's in the community who actually is like y'all guys who go down there, test the game, gives back his feedback and everything. He had a video that was about 15 minutes long where he's literally talking about things that he thinks they need to change in the game and do stuff. But when I listen to his video, it's not necessarily negative things. It's basically just bringing back a couple of things that they didn't have, like some of the old parks, and basically just adding things. It's not taking anything out. It's not bashing the game for what it ain't, because basically you got everything you could want. Now it's basically, let's just get this and add it, like build a park mode, like actually building your own stadium from like the minor leagues all the way up to the major leagues, and then you can like move it to wherever you want to. Just innovative stuff like that. That right there seems crazy to me because I've never heard of anything like that in a sports game since like PS2 days when Madden actually had that. It's kind of sad how people forget. I guess we're like VS said, the last of a dying breed, but we remember all these things. I remember actually making playbooks in Madden. I remember actually making like the 3-4 defense that I ran in high school because you could do stuff like that, and it was so creative, and there's so much you could do with create your own players and teams and everything. I know you go back to those PS2 days, and it's just amazing how, even without the graphics and all this other stuff, it seems like it's so much ahead of its time, if that makes sense. And Sim, I just wanted to know what you thought about Ghost Recon Wildlands. I think that's going to be a game that I'm going to really get into. That and Division, with those two games probably coming out around the same time, and they're Tom Clancy. I know I'm talking, ranting a lot about different stuff, but I just want to know how y'all feel about that game because I really excited about it, to be honest with you. Being a third-person shooter that they took SOCOM away from me, it's almost like I'm hoping it's going to be good where we have clan wars and stuff. But I guess that's pretty much all I got. Y'all have a great night, man. I'll get off and listen.
Appreciate the call. Appreciate your input as well. Always great hearing from you. You're one of the pioneer listeners of the show. And let me first apologize for my lateness. I got a huge test tomorrow that depends a lot on me in school. So taking care of that. So I apologize for the lateness. But I don't have fun with Madden anymore outside of SimStandard Radio League. And that's just a sad truth because, like you said, the gameplay has taken such a downfall or downturn because of how they try to appease casuals. In NBA 2K, the same thing. Everything you said about the three-point line is true now. I haven't played in a while, but even before the patch, I don't have a three-point shooting point guard. But I can go out there and I can put up 80 points easily. OG, shout out to OG, used to say, if you can, put up 30 points on Hall of Fame, he said this about NBA 2K15. If you can put up 30 points on Hall of Fame, holler at me. I don't think he wants all the people that can do that to holler at him now. And it's just, it's gotten to that point now. I understand that the game's most popular player right now may be Steph Curry. And maybe you want to replicate the fact that everybody can be Steph Curry. And that's the case, man. That I don't want any parts of that. 757, I was talking to him yesterday, and he was just like, man,
when is it going to respect football? Not try to catch the trends of, last year was great for them, for EA. They had Odell Beckham Jr. For the cover. He had that amazing catch. Now you can pump wide receiver DB interaction. But ever since that patch, I see the same animations. And I played a CFM game last night that was just disrespectful to the sport of football. It wasn't in Sim Standard Radio. It was in the other league that I participate with, XFL. But I had, to make the long story short, I had Tavon Austin. And he's 5'8", 180, soaking wet. He was like Megatron. Press, aggressive catch, and he would go do the one hand, over the shoulder, roll over catch. It was just ridiculous. But it's gotten to that point now in gameplay to where they nerfed the game so bad or try to appease casuals so bad that they've ruined the integrity of the game. I love the game that released because I felt like, if you had an elite wide receiver out there, I had to be aware at all times. Just like in football. I played the Falcons in that game. I had 73 overall Brandon Harris covering Julio Jones. Julio Jones had like 5 catches for 64 yards. And the user that I was playing is a very good user. So it wasn't like, he didn't know what he was doing with Julio. He's put up, 150, 200-yard games with Julio. It's just what they've done with this game, man. They've made trash corners cover elite wide receivers. I didn't even worry about the safety over top with Julio. So people were so worried about aggressive catch and not about how to defensively in the game get better that they've ruined the gameplay from what it was, man. So, outside of just being in a league like Sim Standard Radio, I don't see how we, the last of a dying breed, will get any enjoyment out of these sports games because it's for the casual. Even when the game drops and it's it feels great, I tell 7x7, I don't care how the game comes out. How are they going to patch it and mess it up? Is what I worry about from now on. Yep. Because that's all it comes down to. Because you can have a great development cycle, great production, great release. Then when casuals get out to it, I can't stop Calvin Johnson. He's catching it in single coverage. He should catch it in single coverage. Double that man up. You hear it on football all the time. You do not cover single cover Calvin Johnson. Even sometimes when he's triple covered, he catches the ball. Oh, not now, buddy. You can have Megatron out there. He's dropping the ball. Cornerbacks are just knocking it up in the air. They're not even elite cornerbacks. So, I'm going to get off my soapbox right here and so we can move on. But it's sad what they've done. But thanks for the call, True.
It's very sad, man. And we're going to move on. We have 2 callers next. We only have 16 minutes, so I'm just going to ask the callers. Try to keep your questions in like 2 minutes and so, man, so we can get everybody in case somebody else come on. But the only thing I'm going to say in regards to what AZ said, and this is my stance in regards to sports games, it's going to be the same until the sequences are gone. Until 2-man sequences are gone, this is what we're going to get. That's what we're going to get. That's why they have to be dynamic. Go look at Smitty's last video and how Backbreaker represented the DB and wide out kind of like going for the ball. Until that happens, and in basketball, likewise, it's going to be the same problem because these sequences take over and then they can tune how successful the dice roll is. That's the real problem. Well, let's go ahead and grab the next caller. Like I said, guys, we have 15 minutes and 13 seconds. Let's keep it short and sweet so we can get both of you in. 410, we got you on now, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, fellas, great show tonight, man. So much of what I, plan to say and it's said time and time again. I'm sorry, this is Dez, but so much
What's going
of what
on,
I said.
Man?
Hey, man, I'm trying to just make it happen, man. But Happy New Year to y'all too, man. I hope y'all enjoyed your holidays. But the patch culture, man. I harped on it time and time again over the years, and I can't stand the whole concept of it because it went from being something that was really beneficial to us, getting rid of bugs. I remember they had the one joint where the players would disappear and whatnot on the field a couple of years back. They got rid of that. That's what I'm thinking the patch is going to be. I'm thinking the patch is going to be something to fix the bug. Why I can't re-sign my dudes. You know what I mean? Besides the one player that I re-signed and nobody else can re-sign for the whole season. That's what the patch is for. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that the patch is to take the game that everybody was salivating to play after they saw those first videos. Whenever I saw Rashad Jennings in that first serious gameplay that we got going crazy on whatever team they were playing against, and whenever I saw Mike Tolbert bend it to the outside, spin off the left tackle, bend it upfield for like 30 more yards, and if the dude ain't juked, he would have possibly taken it to the house. Like, these are the things that we got fresh out the box. You know what I'm saying? And what I can totally relate to y'all with is, going against, Julio, it got to the point where the only defense I could really run at times was cover 2 men. Because I'm like, I can't take anybody away from this dude. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do besides stop him first. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my option with the personnel that the Ravens had this year. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have any nice corners at all. You know what I'm saying? So, like, had the original Madden continued to play out, I would have been in bad shape. You know what I'm saying? I've been lucky, to tell you the truth, because of what they did. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave it at this, man. Like, they need to strike a balance. And I feel like the balance was really, really, really close to being there when the game first dropped, man. You need to figure out a way for Antonio Brown to be able to moss people. You need to figure out a way for Steve Smith to be able to moss people. Like, that needs to be in the game. All the spectacular catches. Go on YouTube to the NFL page right now and watch all the top catches and all the top runs of the year. I guarantee you all these crazy plays that people had, it's in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when the tagline was actually making sense, because there needs to be spectacular plays in the games. You know what I'm saying? But when they mess with the whole system, the whole rating system goes kaput. Because now that you can have suction tackling, why do I even need to, you know what I'm saying, get any type of block shedding from my DN? If I know that they're going to be able to just zoom out to the outside, if they got 77 speed and the running back got 91 speed, and it don't even matter, like, that's the stuff that wasn't in the game at first. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't make the wrong step on defense with somebody who wasn't an elite athlete and still make a play. You can do that now. You know what I'm saying? Back to 15 in so many different regards. It's disgusting, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, the game is not unplayable. You know what I'm saying? 2K to me is unplayable. You know what I'm saying? Madden is just frustrating. And hopefully, hopefully we can get to the point where, Madden just needs to make a decision, man. Like, they need to decide, like, are you going to put your gameplay foot forward, or are you going to put your presentation foot forward? Because I feel like they're not all in either regard. At least with 2K, with all its problems, that thing looks so incredibly mean. You can never deny that. The shoes, the accessories, the broadcast, the commentary, the music, everything in it is crazy, except the gameplay. Madden gameplay is pretty daggone good. Madden presentation is okay, better than it's ever been on these last generations. But what are you trying to lead with? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the most feasible thing? And if you need to get a whole new engine to allow the same type of foot planting that we saw on PS3, NCAA 14 in the open field with every player on the field, can we at least just get some better replay angles and get a shooter sleeve in the meantime, and just keep us satisfied with the way it looks? If you're going to keep messing up with the way it plays, you understand what I'm saying? I'll leave it at that for this week.
Yeah, man. We appreciate the call, man. You said a lot right there. I don't know if everybody's going to catch it, so y'all might have to rewind that. But you said a whole lot with a little bit of time just now. I often feel that way too, man. I don't know like I said, it's such a frustrating thing because we know the heart of the devs. Like, and some people can say, oh, they just pulling you up. No, they not, man. Like, when you've been around people for so long, there's certain devs there that we tight with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to exclude nobody, but we tight with these dudes. We was tight with Vic and Lugo. Like, Vic, I still talk to Vic. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we tight with some of these dudes. Like, they want, trust me, they want the game to be what we want it to be. Rex is one of the most passionate, and it's funny about Rex. I'll say this real fast and we'll move on. When we first met Rex, all three of us was kind of like, they don't talk that much. Rex always came in and did his thing, but he never really talked as much. But I learned now as we've been around him, and like we're the closest of friends now, Rex is a no-nonsense type of dude. He just sit there, takes it in, and he wants to get the job done. He's passionate about making this game what he knows football was when he played in college. You understand what I'm saying? But the problem is, and Azur always says this, Azur was spot on with this 2-3 years ago. We got to go after the heads, man. That's why I said this year, every opportunity that I'm down there, I'm going to find those execs. I'm going to find that same one. Remember I told y'all I talked to one side by side at E3, and he said they won't going to change nothing. You think this boy ain't going to ask him that when I see him? I'm going to say, yo, what happened? You told me that nothing was going to change. Like now, and it's like, of course, we ain't going to do nothing crazy and get thrown out of there. Yeah, we're going to be real with them. Like, we're going to be real with these dudes. Like, yo, like, what's going on? You can't keep playing with people's emotions like that. And I'm saying, not just us. You can't keep saying, we're going for this, we're going for that. It's like you make the devs look crazy. Because it's just like y'all, like Smitty said about Jerry Jones. Even though this is not a good analogy because Jason Garrett is not a good coach. That's a whole other topic. But basically, he's a puppet. He's a puppet for Jerry Jones. Whatever Jerry Jones says, he can come out of that booth and be like, put him in the game. The dude's going in the game. That's what the devs, that's kind of what the money, the suit people do to the devs, so to speak. I know you like this, but we're going to have to change this because it affects the bottom line. That's what they're doing. That has to stop. I'm sorry. This could go on for another show, but we only got 6.5 minutes, so let me get the last caller in here real quick, 337. And Dez, man, thanks for the call. We appreciate that. And like you said, I want to see a Steve Smith type dude really represented in the game, and the only way we're going to do that, take these sequences away, allow the physics and stuff to play out dynamically, and give these dudes special abilities. Then we're going to see that kind of stuff. But 337, man, we got you in live. What's going on tonight?
Hey, how's it going, man? Happy New Year to you guys. I hope your Christmas and New Year's was good. You guys staying out of trouble. You didn't get arrested. None of that stuff happened. You guys are all here, so it's all good, man. But I just want to say real quick is that basically I think what Madden and EA does is not necessarily they cater to the casual. They cater to people that just trying out the game and don't know nothing about it. These newcomers that want to pick the game up. Now, I agree with you guys that, give us football and let us figure it out. I don't see them nerfing Assassin's Creed. I don't see them nerfing any of these other games like Battlefield and nothing like that. Why would you do that to a sports game that attracts a lot of the people that want real-life football in their home, So I agree with you guys, and I know you guys go down there. I don't have a lot of time, so I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys going out there and giving our input and being a voice for the community. And hopefully in the next couple of years we can get real life football the way we want it, and we can all enjoy it and have peace and let us figure it out by going to skills training or whatever they put in there, and we can have some football and we can play online and all this stuff. So you guys have a good night, and that's all I got right now. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We know we appreciate you as well. We got just under 5 minutes. I know we got time to throw it around to each other real quick. But it's that year, man. I think we have – this is the breaking point. And it's funny because 757 hit it right on the head a couple of weeks ago, and he said it tonight. Like, it's getting to the point where I don't want to keep hearing about the time. You know what I'm saying? Because what we saw from Madden 16 blew our mind for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, don't take that out of context. Don't take that out of context. Some people will listen. What I'm saying was, when we all saw what they had, and then when we came back later in the year and saw how it was playing, first thing we said was, whoa, man, I can't wait to see 17, 18, and 19. My goodness. Now, you know, like I said, Azur's always on top of it. Like he said. Now we just on something. And you know what? At AZ, I know he's going to say this when I bring him back in real quick. We went from seeing it early, how they going to finish, that was our concern, to now we worrying about what the patch going to be. That sounds a little backwards to me. So we got it to the point where the game integrity stays all the way to launch. Now we got to sit back and wonder what the patch going to do to mess it up. That's crazy. But, yeah, you got anything to add to that, Smitty?
No, I just don't want this game to end up being like NBA 2K, where it's like basically you just time the patch. You wait till Black Friday, and then that really will let you know Black Friday or basically Christmas or close to Christmas to find out where the game is actually going to be at until the next edition rolls out. I don't want that to be like that for Madden, but, you know, this is what it's shaping out to be. Like, especially from these past two games, like they're nerfing and nullifying football because these dudes can't handle it. Like, and that's what I'm saying. They need to have separate things like tuners and mode that's going to cater to, you know, the sport that the way the game was prior to launch. Because like you said, Sim, when we played it, like I said, AZ is a pretty laid back dude. That brother was talking up. You know what I'm saying? Because he liked what was going on, and I mean we all did. And then it's night and day between what we played versus what happened post launch after they started tuning stuff. So that's all I got, man.
Take us home, AZ. That ain't that crazy how, remember what you used to say? You used to say, man, I just want to know how it's going to finish. Now we talk about, man, I just want to know how many patches they going to
Exactly. We got to the point to where the gameplay has taken steps forward. Like, I'm playing a game now in the same league that I told you the foolishness was going on prior. We've gone to the next week. So it's like now I'm getting suction tackled out this world. I know some stuff has to do with settings and all this kind of stuff, but we've got to take the training wheels off, man. Like, the helpers in this game degrade the gameplay so much, man. Like, I understand that you want to have people who are new to the sport of football play the game and be like, oh, okay, I can compete with such and such. Nah, man. Let's just be fair. I don't think that I can really coach in the NFL, so what's wrong with somebody who's really good and knowledgeable at football breaking me off? Let them break me off. That means I need to get better. So, I mean, I know we coming to a close and we got time. I'm winding down, but, man, we could go on forever. I want to see what they're going to do for 17, man. This is a make or break year for me. And I know we said that in the past, but no, for real this time. Like, they got to deliver, and they got to quit nerfing it to the point to where, you know, the game comes out, feels great, and we like, oh, man, what's going to happen in the patch? Because we said it. Remember, Madden 25 pass rush? Oh, man, great. Nerf. Madden 15 inaccurate passes. Football. Nerf. Madden 16 wide receiver DB interactions. That's wonderful. Nerf. So
we have 5 seconds. We're going to get cut off, y'all.
Yeah, man. I'm bad, man. But we,
no.
Thanks for everybody.
We're going to pick this up. We're going to pick this right up next week, man, because it's more than I wanted to say as well. But thank you, everybody, for calling and listening. If we get cut off, y'all know why, because we're trying to stay on with y'all. But we'll be back next week. I'm going to get this up on YouTube right away, probably tonight or tomorrow. Stop being lazy. But all right, guys. Peace.
That's our show.
Peace. Thanks for the support.
Peace.